Welcome to Inside the Village, a podcast from Awaken Village Press. This is a space for honest conversations about creativity, meaningful work, and the journey of bringing ideas into the world. And also the bigger questions that shape our lives and who we become along the way. Through different conversations and reflections, my hope is that this podcast offers you not just insight, but a sense of connection, a reminder that you're not doing this alone. I'm really glad you're here. Okay, we are back we are on day 4 of Writing the World Forward, and we are in our second session of the day already. So halfway through our final day. And again, I'm seeing so many friendly and familiar faces. And we are, of course, welcoming all of you who are watching this replay as well, because we know many of you are going to be diving into this with us later, but we can still feel your energy in this space and your hearts with us. So thank you. We are inviting one of our speakers back today to go a little deeper into her message, her mission, what she is here for. But before we dive into that, if you do want to drop in the chat, one of the question I have for you today is, what was something that has surprised you or maybe delighted you over the course of these past 3 days? If there's something that has stood out to you, or you can share it in a word or a phrase. Feel free to drop that in if you'd like. And again, there may be some time to ask more, have more of you bring your voices on at the end of this session if time permits. So stay tuned for that. I will guide us into that after we have a minute to connect and drop in with Amron Bevels again. And so some of you, maybe many of you, all of you, were here for her first session on day 1. But just as a reminder, Amron works at the intersection of spiritual mastery, prosperity, and self-permission. And as a business mentor, she blends her scientific mind with a psychic spiritual lens to bolster the impact of the leaders she serves. Her work centers on helping intuitive women reclaim their innate tools, sharpen spiritual mastery, leverage their creation potential to create lives that feel rich, deeply aligned, and truly free. Amron is also the co-author of The Priestess Transmissions, a channeled codex anchoring spiritual awareness and sacred sovereignty into form, and author of the forthcoming book, Light Codes of Money, which we are very excited to bring into the world this month. So super excited. We're going to stay tuned. Make sure you're following her if you aren't already, and you will learn all about this and so much more. Amron, welcome back.
Thank you, Goddess. Let's go. I'm excited to be here. Hello, everyone.
Yes, same. So let's talk about your book a little bit, and then we're going to see where this conversation takes us. But we didn't get to talk much about your book on the first conversation. So your book, The Light Codes of Money, is described as a code book and oracle for the divine feminine leader, a guide to becoming a frequency match to the prosperity you dare to allow. What does it mean to be a frequency match to something?
The other key word in there felt like the word allow. We are electromagnetic beings. We are always sending out a signal. This can be measured. And funny enough, I think it's pretty remarkable to know that despite what the mainstream might lead us to believe, it's not the brain that has the strongest signal. It is the heart. The human heart is a magnificent organ, and it is also a metaphysical portal, a transformation space, a doorway, a healing location, a power position. And so our emotions are constantly feeding back to and from the heart. Our thought forms, our belief systems, our belief habits, our thought habits are all tapping back and forth to and from the heart. And the heart is informing those and being informed by them. And so if you want to just simply keep the heart as the focal point in the context of our topic about frequency, we can measure the electromagnetic intensity and the breadth of span of scope of actual physical space that that frequency inhabits. And we can see it growing and we can see it shrinking with positive emotion, with expression, with love, with feeling fully free, as children often demonstrate for us. And we can also see it contract. It's a donut-shaped field that can give us a lot of information about the psyche, where we are in our moment, where we are in our in our view of ourselves. So I love this as the foundational question, Amanda, and I thank you very much for bringing that forward, because what do we do with that? It is informing our, not just our frequency field, but how the universe around us responds to us. And I like to see and perceive that we are each in our own little snow globe of reality. You can be living a very different existence than your neighbor, than even your bed partner. You can see the same gorgeous sunset or landscape and perceive and pick up completely different things. You can see a play or performance or a moment in time play out on the street in front of you and perceive it completely differently. And so this is just a beautiful example of how we are indeed living parallel realities, not just within ourselves, but within our construct, our social reality. So I just wanted to invite all of this in here right off the bat, because this is really core premise to everything that I teach, lead, and support.
Beautifully described and explained. Thank you. And I'm already feeling just that heart center frequency that we are emitting. And I loved your description of it. It can be open and wide and expansive, and it can be contracted and closed off. And that is impacting what we perceive, what we experience, what we receive, what we give. So you do talk about spiritual women, which I also loved your definition of what spiritual means, by the way. If you and I'll leave it at that, because I don't remember what you said, but I remember it really like flipping it up, like flipping it over for me. I was like, oh, that's spiritual. So maybe it'll come back through. But spiritual women breaking out of false piety codes. That it's that so many of us have said it's good to be poor, kind of a thing, or maybe we don't know if it's good to be poor, but we think we are poor. Where does this code come from? Why has it been so persistent, especially among those of us who might consider ourselves doing conscious healing work?
Great question. Where does it come from? First, I want to deepen your presentation of that code or that belief and establish it as an invisible distortion, an invisible myth, or an invisible truth for some of us, right? An invisible code. And where it comes from, and why I say invisible, sorry, just to clarify this, is that a lot of us don't recognize what we're carrying. A lot of us don't recognize the beliefs we are abiding by and that we're living by, right? This feels so thematic and on brand with the entirety of this entire summit. And when we can start to uncover and recognize and bring to light those invisible codes by which we live, loyalty codes to ancestry, codes of devotion to perceived as God, already outside of ourselves, start to notice where we behave out of authenticity, out of our true alignment, out of our true desires. Children don't seem to have that. And that's what indoctrination is about. That's what socialization is about. That's what training is about. That's what discipline is about, right? So we're feeding them, any parents in the room can remember doing this. We're feeding them stories, codes of conduct, codes of belief, codes of holding oneself that make them appropriate. And so let's just notice that there are probably a crap ton of those that we are carrying that we can't even identify. Where do they come from? I think I just elaborated it pretty well. And I think before that, they came from religion and religious need to control for whatever reason. Before that, I think they came from these elite, what do we want to say here? Underground forces that want to siphon energy off of humanity. That's truly the deep of where this conversation could go. We will not go, but I do want to just offer it because the question was honestly asked, where does it come from? Humans arguably are here in part to bring forward a new reality across this universe. And there are factions that be, some of them arguably not human, that want to derail that, siphon energy off of that, participate in that, co-opt that. So there we have it.
Beautiful. And then to follow on that, why do you feel this is so persistent? Yeah, Kimmy, you are speaking Kimmy's language right now. She's feeling you.
Let's have tea.
Yes. Why is it so persistent, do you feel like, and still, I mean, knowing that where it came
Great
from?
question. Let's simply say that humans are here evolving right now into our conscious awareness of our power. And part of that, the biggest part of that, is evolving into our awareness of our choice. Evolving into, and this is where all the things that are trying to control humanity and siphon energy of it don't want to happen. Once we recognize how powerful we are and the fact that we do indeed create the reality matrix before us. That's why the snow globe analogy works so, so well. We become unstoppable. If you're harnessing energy, anybody, even if it's just your beautiful, mother, harnessing the energy of her 4-year-old child who's, giving her all of the child's love and giving her all of the child's energy, and the child sweeps the floor for mom and helps mom feel safe in the world, right? Or mom thinks she needs to keep the child safe, right? There's an energetic cord there too that isn't always healthy, right? Let alone all the most extreme versions I've described today. The child going rogue is scary, period. And it's a loss in some ways to the controlling parent slash elite power that be slash, right? Religious figurehead or whatever it is. So imagine humanity where we truly are free. We truly know the power of our word, and we truly feel the life force of our existence. What do we do with that? We would be this wildly generous community, wildly optimistic, ecstatic, wildly powerful group of beings, right? So this is what it is, if you ask
Wow.
me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that you said we would be wildly generous. That feels very on theme for where we're at, the conversations we even started having in our first session, where we're going to be going in our subsequent sessions today, and really like what I built, and I say I built that what has been
Goddess.
built through me.
I love it when you own it. Please invite that in. It's good for you. Not everyone needs to do that, but you goddess, please put it
Okay,
up.
so what I have built and have been stewarding here with Awaken Village Press for the past few years is based on that premise of generosity in so many ways. I mean, generosity of spirit, generosity of money, generosity of everything. And
Time.
so, I'm curious, like from where you sit, what does it actually mean to put your resources behind something you believe in?
Oh gosh, that makes my whole spine activate. Thank you very much. So I'm going to interpret and direct my answer toward leaders, toward ambitious individuals, people with vision, people who feel a sense of mission guiding and driving what they do, even if it's the mother who just gets up to take care of her children. Every part of you is emanating a signal, as we spoke about in the beginning. Every cell, I like to teach this, I am a doctor, can't help it, has its consciousness, has its own individual consciousness. So I think that every part of us has a motor. And what happens when we direct all of the motors in the same direction? All of the consciousness is moving in the same direction. Every bit of our signal is unified and organized and pointing in the same direction. Do you think our power is stronger when we do that? Absolutely. So if you can get behind yourself, if you can double down on who you know yourself to be or who you are building yourself into, that is the biggest gift you can give yourself. And I believe that that is a service to humanity also, because taking it to the very farthest other extreme, the powers that be siphon our energy expressly by scattering it, by distorting it, by creating chaotic frequency fields that don't align, right? Cancer is a great example of that in physical health form, right? When we're carrying too many things, juggling too many moving parts that we can't keep up with, and we're scattering our energy. So if you can shore up the belief in yourself, if you can shore up your dedication to your vision, to your mission, if you can tell yourself that you are the right thing, that you are the best thing, then I think you are doing humanity the greatest service you can do it.
I love that. I love that. That has me think of, I mean, it feels like when I hear you say that, on the one hand, it is the belief, it's the I claim this, it's this is who I am. And any one of us can do that. And any one of us can do that with any dollar amount in our bank account, right? Like we can all do that. And then there's also
1000%.
a layer of when there are resources or dollars to also maybe add to it again, it's just all energy. And it's so
Mm.
as that can be compounded onto that belief and to say, okay, I'm going all in on this mission, or I'm moving toward this, and I'm putting every part of my being in addition to the dollars or this, change or the little numbers in my bank account also toward this thing, right? I feel like is that what you're pointing to? Is that what you're saying? Am I receiving that correctly? Is there more you would add?
You could certainly extend what I shared into the physicality of dollars and cents, of time input, of energy investment, but truly I was speaking about focus.
Beautiful.
And I focus there, I start there because that is where our power lies. That is our renewable resource. That is our limitless currency. And truly the currency that, again, those factions we described that want others, that want more power than what they're privy to, are going after is our focus. And they do so by distraction mechanisms. They do so by yoking others with this onus of you're not good enough unless fill in the blank. Usually it's something along the lines of serving me, right? So we have gotten caught up to tap back to your, conversation earlier about beliefs and false codes. We have taken on so many false piety codes and false worthiness codes of I'm not good enough until I'm only good enough when I exert, when I give, when I overgive, when I sacrifice, when I atone, when I confess, right? I mean, we've been shown that we're innately marred, that we'll never be good enough. How about that for a power siphoning source? Right? You're never going to be good enough. But you could wash my arm here and, tell me God is good, right? Like, I mean, come on, right? So, yes, we can invest in ourselves with our dollars. And to keep it on brand here with the conversation about the book, I don't recommend people leave their day jobs for their visions and dreams until they truly shore up that belief and that sense of self-worthiness and that sense of self-rightness and right placement. And you might even find that you get funded at that point. Right? Who knows? There's so many ways to fund an initiative.
Yeah. And you have this wonderful money energetics kicking off tomorrow, 4 week, time to play. And it was so delightful to see one of your women have already, she's gotten the surprise money and it's come in fun ways. And so I know the work you do is so powerful. Of course, I should have met you about 7 years ago before I quit my 10 years ago before I quit my day job. But I took a different path, Amron. I took a different path, and here we are. But you know what? It's perfect. It's perfect. We've spent 4 days together talking about stories that need to exist. I mean, yours is one of them, and it's coming into the world already. We're going to see it any day now. It's the books being written, the voices being reclaimed, and a new world being built. From your lens on money and worth, what would you say to someone who feels called to support that work, but is still negotiating with themselves about whether they can or should?
Well, that is a great example of a split in the energy. And I would invite them to look at the desire. And I genuinely imagine the heart being the guide in the context of desire. And I think that's a great opportunity, by the way, for everyone when we find ourselves in a moment of desire to really tap back in with this and remember what we shared at the beginning, which was this is more potent, more powerful, more in the lead, believe it or not, than this, right? So what happens when we trust the purity of our hearts? We then get to extend that trust into the purity and the piety and the rightness of our desire, right? So much religiosity, sorry to harp on religion, but it's the most prevalent one that I think we can all recognize, has taught us to shame our desire, right? We've been told that it's greedy or risky or taking from someone else or all the things, right? But that's where our inspiration skewers us is through desire. It pulls us forward. And so if you're able to really co-opt that and really like lovingly shore up again, once again, turn all of your molecules toward the rightness of you, the rightness of your desire, the rightness of your right to be here, the rightness of your preferences, the rightness of your vision or of your interest, right? Your pull towards something, your draw towards something. Then I think you're cleaning up the other half of it, which is the self-doubt half, the second guessing half, the maybe this isn't the right time or the right move half. You certainly get to explore that as well. I like to start with this piece because this is us building momentum in the positive and reinvesting our energy currency into ourselves. And then we get to look at the doubt and ask it, where am I cutting myself off from joy, pleasure, gratification? What does it gain me if I withhold this. And you get to play in that without shaming it, truly, because there are probably some very hidden, beautiful stories in there about going without or being told it's better to deprive or we need to save and hoard, right? Because we don't know what's coming. But who lives like that? I love going back to the child. They are the renewable resource for so many of us, right? And they're demonstrating that renewability. They repair faster, they recover faster. People want to give to them, right? No child's left hungry, really. I mean, people are always giving, always giving, always giving, always giving. So if you can bring that gravity and like energy field to yourself, you get to trust that within the universe, you are a desired resource. You are a desired renewable. You get to receive, you get to be replenished. So
Yeah.
and then, side note, in the context of money, I know we're in a giving time at this point with regard to the summit and the Awaken Village initiatives here, funding and fueling this beautiful wellspring of supporting authors and artists and creators. Boy, I had a really interesting point here about, yes, it's back. Money wants to be in motion. Emotions want to be in motion. Joy wants to be in motion. Generosity is joy in motion. What happens when you bottle it? When you try and pickle it, it doesn't really work for you anymore. It loses its luster, it loses its energy and its radiance. So spend. Have you ever tipped someone and felt your own energy rise because you were extra expressive about your love and appreciation and gratitude? This is the stuff. This is the stuff that I believe the new earth will be embodying. I believe that this is our 5D consciousness awakening, coming back online. Like bring your heart up a couple octaves, bring your energy forward, fully express your love and joy. We don't need to bottle it, we don't need to hide it.
Beautiful. Ooh. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. I do have another question, but I want to just, before I use that as sort of a closing of sorts, I want to see if anyone here, well, I know many of you have been here from day one. If you would like to bring your voice on, or if you'd like to raise your hand, if you have a question for Amron, if you have a reflection for her, if you have something you'd like to share, she's here for it. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay. Ask you about this one. I've been following a Dr. Samuel Lee since September. I don't know if you know about who he
I
is.
do know Dr. Samuel Lee. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been going to his webinars, but that's beside the point. When you talk about the heart, because I've always felt this, I don't know what you call it, an energy vortex oscillation right here at the still point, what he calls the zero point 0.8 chakra. And I've always had that throughout my whole life. But recently, since I've been following him and doing a lot of his spiritual things, I feel an energy all the time within my body from the top of my head to the soles of my feet and everything in between, and even feeling it expand.
Ooh,
which I never knew the face to the name and the name to the face my whole life.
Yeah.
And it's so, when you say the heart, do you mean this one and this one, or one or the other?
So everything in physical form has a representation in energetic form. So I'm speaking energetically when I say heart. And
Okay.
yes, you can boil it down to the 3D physical vortexual organ system for sure. But even the electromagnetics of the literal heart are just like astounding. When you literally measure the heart against the brain, the heart wins multiple times over. I believe it's hundreds of times, guys. It's massive. It's astounding. How have we gotten lied to believe that this thing in here is actually running the show? I can go on, but I will pause it here. Just know that there are humans who are brilliant, like mathematician level brilliant, who literally, when we actually scan their brain, we discover all they have is the thinnest rim lining the skull of brain tissue, like a thin 2-cell layer thin, like the rest is just fluid. So you don't really need that brain. Watch the telepathy tapes. It's a wonderful podcast that talks all about it.
Love it. Does anyone have a question, a reflection, a comment, a curiosity?
When you said 3D, what do you mean by that?
I meant the physical form. So the x-axis, y-axis, and the z-axis, so 3 dimensions. But I think what I want to just say back to you, Danila, is that you're in the, it sounds like you're getting into the esoteric depth with your study. And I just want to commend that and say, the good news about this is that the vernacular is it's so much less relevant as you are already demonstrating by what you're able to feel and sense and perceive in your own body, which is epic. I really just want to invite you to attend less to the semantics and the language and more to how does it make you feel? Because that's your true discernment. And we can get so heady. And I'm speaking about the leaders, not you. The leaders, the thought leaders, the people talking can get very, very heady and can often like trick themselves into their own egoic, rabbit holes of minutia and specificity. And I think that's where religion has gone for a lot of us a lot of the time in history. And so I just want to invite you to just hold fast to your higher sensory perception and the general feel you get as you're listening to this, because that's the resonance. That's your discernment talking. That's how you know something is for you. And that's how you can know right away. One little thing he said was not for me. And I'll just set that aside, but I'll take the rest, Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amron, what is one shift, internal, or however, I'm not even, just one shift. I'll let you decide if it's internal or something else. But what is one shift that changes everything for a woman's relationship, or a human, but a human's relationship with money and worth?
It's the hashtag I use more than any hashtag. Choose yourself. You are the center of the universe. You are the commander. You are the person sitting in the cockpit. You are the one praying things into existence. You are the one connecting with all of your star family, your astral beings, your parallel aspects, your inner cellular matrix. You are the one summoning and shoring up the energy, the gumption, the courage, the motivation, the focus, the direction. You are the one receiving the inspiration from God's source light, however you want to see it. You are the one. 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 And we did, yes, come to play in others' matrices, right? Not everything that happens is our fault or on us, no question. And we get to always bring it back in the center focus. I suggest always bringing it back into the heart. Deciding, that's the other, choosing yourself, and deciding that I am no longer going to feed the false codes of piety, deciding that I am no longer going to feed the false constructs of being not, deciding that I am my best investment. I am the best thing happening in my world. It's really powerful when we do that. And I love walking with you as you do that. I love standing by your side as you do that. And truth be told, I absolutely need practitioners, facilitators, mentors, sisters, colleagues, peers, guides helping me along the way too, because we are in this human form. There is a hummingbird just to my right. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. It's within like 3 feet of me. We are humans. We came to play the human game. We are not in the soul space fully. Most of us is in the soul space, but a piece of us chose to incarnate here in physical form for the full gameplay of it, for the full put the blinders on of it, for the full walk the maze and see if I can find my way home and hold myself together, study abroad version of it. So we get to play fully here and be in all of the breadth of our emotions and all the things and really truly acknowledge the beauty of the sorrow, the beauty of the grief, the beauty of the meltdowns. Like really, guys, like we have such range and we get to really feel like the catharsis of it, right? That's why we go to sad movies. That's why we watch the love stories that we know are going to just plummet and have the moment because right? It's just part of our feeling alive. I don't think we get that in the soul version. So ride it to the ground, have fun. And when you're sick of the gameplay and you're tired of being so down on ourselves or whatever, that's when we get to remember, yeah, I am the center of everything.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
I love being with you, Amanda. I just want you to know how much I just love your heart and the steadfastness of your work here, your vision. I love everything you stand for. I love the way you carry us as your author. As your author babies. Really, sometimes I said this in the last session, but sometimes you're dragging us along. Sometimes you're pretending to leave the room, but you're just waiting and then you're going to check in on us in 3 days. Sometimes we think you've left the room and we're like, oh, I got away with it. I don't have to write this book, but you are right there, just holding the vision, holding the scaffolding, holding the light, and really just seeing us through and through. And it's a cakewalk as books go. And I would never do it with anybody but you. Thank you.
I love you. Thank you. And the joy frequency that you exude is so
Hmm.
It gets me. It's just it's contagious. So thank you. I appreciate you deeply. I appreciate each and every one of you on this call today and everyone who watched this replay. I just feel the ripple effects are starting, and we're starting here, and they're going to keep going and going and going. So thank you for tuning in again. Amron, thank you so much for helping us close this out. You opened it, you helped us close it. It's been a beautiful, beautiful summit with you and everything else. And of course, be on the outlook or the lookout for Light Codes of Money. We will be announcing that soon as well. Cannot wait for that book to be in my hands, and so many others. With so much love, I will see all of you hopefully very soon. Okay, take care. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. If something in today's episode resonated with you and you're wanting a space to explore your own creative path, I'd love to welcome you into the Author's Village, our community for writers, creators, and thoughtful humans walking this path together. You can learn more through the link in our show notes. Until next time, thanks for being here.